Okay, so today we've got something exciting, and it's the comparison of Asian forest scorpions. Now, Asian forest scorpions, there's so many different species. They all look very similar to beginners, and so I want to make some comparison videos on Asian forest scorpions to give a better idea on what the differences are. So this right here on my hand is actually a H. glaucus from Mursala Islands. So the locality also makes a slight difference on their appearance, but not big. Now, as you can see, the tail fin is quite red. So that's the stinger, and it's it's sort of like this orange-red tint to it, and then the claws, so we call it the chele. It's quite long as well, and you can see the entire overall outlook of this scorpion is quite shiny. It's not so matte. And on the other hand is an H. thorellii scorpion. Now the thorellii scorpion, this one is sort of like a more mattish, it's got a more matte sort of a finish, I would say, on the exoskeleton. It's not as shiny, but as you can see, the chele, so the claws, it's more granulated. And as for the H. glaucus, as you can see, it's more long as well. For thorellii, it's not as long, it's slightly thicker in the chele, and the tail fin is black on the thorellii. Now for the glaucus, as you can see in this comparison right here, the tail fin is more orange and red, and the other one has no orangey red tail fin. And actually, if we look at their legs, you can see the glaucus has a more of a brownish orange finish on the, I would say, toes maybe. And as you can see, there's a comparison, there's a contrast between the thorellii and the glaucus, because the thorellii doesn't have this. Thorellii is pure black legs, and the other one is more of a brownish orange finish on their legs. And here's the female. And so if we look at the female, actually the female glaucus and the female thorellii both have thicker chele. As you can see, it's more rounded chele. It's not as long and slim. But the overall appearance in terms of the tail fin, maybe their overall exoskeleton, is pretty much similar, as one is quite matte and the other one's quite shiny. But one of the major differences between the male and the female of these two species is that they both share a morphological difference, in that the chele of females tends to be more round and more thick, whereas the chele of the male, they tend to be more slim and a little more, they tend to be slimmer and longer. So on the left side, you've got the female glaucus, right side is the male glaucus. Right side, as you can see, the chele is more slim and long, left side is more rounded. Same for thorellii, as you can see on the right side, it seems to be more slim and long, whereas on the left side it seems to be more round and not as long as the male. So here I've got a pair of H. silenus. And H. silenus, they tend to be larger in size. This one's a male, by the way. They tend to be larger in size, their tail fin's black, and you can see their chele is it's more rounded, more thick, and it's got this sort of shine to it, but it's sort of matte as well. It's more matte in terms of the outlook. Now this one's a male because, as you can see, the chele, right, there's a little bit of a lump right here on the lower side of the claw, and on the other hand, you've got this female right here, and they don't have this. And so this is one of the easiest ways to differentiate between the males and females. And so for H. silenus, it's also quite easy to differentiate. And basically, the three Asian forest scorpion species I've talked about today, they're all quite relatively easy to differentiate amongst, the Asian forest scorpion species. Now, when it comes to Asian forest scorpions, or ASFs for short, there are so many different species, and ASFs are just a common name amongst common name. And so, how can we differentiate all these species? There are so many different ones. Some people might ask, what's the difference between a glaucus, a silenus, and a spinifer, or even some longimanus? There's quite a lot of different species. And so, I want to make more comparison videos just to show you guys the differences between these scorpions. Now, on my right side is again the glaucus, left side the silenus. The more you look at them, the more you realize the differences between the Asian forest scorpions. You go like, oh yes, although they're both, Asian forest scorpions, they're so different. These are the two males, by the way. You've got a male silenus and a male glaucus. Eventually, the more you look at them, the more you grasp on the idea of differences. Now, I didn't choose species like glaucus or spinifers to make a comparison video, because now glaucus and a spinifer and a silenus might appear slightly more similar between them, whereas if I use something like a glaucus or a thorellii to compare, it would seem more different because, see, for the glaucus, not only is the telson different, the overall color, the overall shine is completely different, right? The kelly shape is different. You've got a very long kelly on one hand, you've got a more rounded and a more pulp kelly on the other hand, and you've got this thorellii on, oh, that's pretty bad. But anyway, you've got a thorellii on one hand and a silenus on the other. Now the thorellii, silenus, and what's that name? Yeah, glaucus, they all look different, right? So these ones, as you can see, thorellii it's got sort of this granulation on the kelly. I thought that these three species are very interesting to compare, and actually the telson for the thorellii is not fully black. It seems black on first glance, but actually it's sort of like this dark brown color. But I'd say that these three species are very good for comparison, actually. And I hope that this video would give you guys a better idea on actually the differences between the Asian forest scorpions. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Thank you guys for the support. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.